speaks to you. And then we'll stop. And then I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and we'll go into like writing like a narrative or like a script outline based on based on your order. Um, and then we'll move on to the next part.
Sick.
Okay. So does everyone just want to read the JPEG or should I read it out loud?
Read it out loud.
Read it out loud.
Okay.
Yes.
A week ago, the earth began to pulse, play to its own rhythm, and human beings too began our pulse. Scores of lives of bodies found their rhythms destroying chairs, setting mortgages on fire, abandoning their children. Humanity began a collective march through paths where the magnet was strongest. Cities became clumps in the parade overnight. But in walking through the dust, us millions, when we walked over a weak patch and found our eyes, the bastards, turned skyward, we might chance upon a man, a woman, a thing in the window, still watching us, all alone.
I know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know I'm doing this comparative thing, but I don't know if that's the direction that we're going in.
Should we write maybe, should we pick a new thing?
Yeah.
And write
These are so cool.
sort of
Valley Village, baby.
Let's go.
Valley Village.
the kind of points?
I'd be happy. You want us to go on that nail of it?
We can read it.
Wow. So perked up.
As we know, repetition is very important in working through and talking through the process of analysis. So it's about what happens in the body and in the space between and around the words, as well as the words themselves.
Now, the third way is what one might call pure cinematics, the assembly of film, and how it can be changed to create a different idea.
Just about different modes of sharing. So we both share a lighter mood. If you both different modes of sharing. We both share a lighter mood.
Just being strangers, I think, is something that did really come through in the first meeting for me.
I mean, the thing that I'm the happiest with actually is that I wanted to do a pair-driven assignment because, you know, we're a new collective, and I know some people know each other, but I thought it would be really great to just get people working together.
PIC has ran for 3 meetings now. We've done 3 projects with each other.
I think I'm excited. I would love for like all of us to work together at the same time. I know that would be chaos, but I like chaos. So
I don't know, I don't think it occurred to me that the objects would become that precious that quickly as like film objects.
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing. So I think if we did another exercise, I'd try to like make the time frame even shorter, because I think we already got too precious with our work.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was trying to avoid in creating this assignment.
It's also so interesting because Amelia and I were like reflecting on the first meeting, and we were already like, we need to do some kind of work of like a generative work that involves destruction, and that is like essentially what this was. That like, even though you're like adding things, you're actually like working from a point where, as you're adding things, you're taking away.
Yeah.
And both of those are happening concurrently.
I really like the idea of like someone disrespecting my work. Like I make something and then someone just like completely like literally makes it into a GIF, or like does something that like tears it apart but also like just like reconfigures it. So I think that's also a fun thing to do. Like there's no end, there doesn't have to be an end point. Like you can do something and then you can be like, hey, I made this. Do you want to do something else to it? What are we feeling? Like I don't think there's any guilt in like continuing something. It's just a matter of like the final say. Okay, wait, everyone, let's do a clap. Ready? 1, 2. Rude.
Wait, you have to
One.
save time for the recording.
Are we recording? 1.
Oh, we're all
Yes.
recording.
Yeah.
Oh,
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Right, perfect. And we're good to go.
Okay.
And we can talk over this one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't think that we were gonna start with a stand.
Start with a stand?
Such a scanned beginning. It took like a lot more of an animated quality than I've like ever worked with before.
I like it.
I love it. I adore it.
I think this part's so
Yeah,
cool.
I'm
I always
amazed
thought
by
it was
the
kind of
intro.
funny because it was like your first time animating like that, and that's like, I don't know,
I love this
collaboration,
part.
taking on different roles.
Definitely like Caleb inspired.
Yeah, I just love
influence.
images.
Yeah.
The influence.
JPEGs?
Love to put JPEGs in combination with each other.
Oh my goodness.
And then
Also, God, I
stop,
adore the way that
and
you guys
then,
did the texture
I'm
here.
gonna set a timer for 10 minutes.
And, like, having
we'll,
The integration of the
um,
films
go into like
into
writing,
the film
like
is
a
gorgeous.
narrative.
And like using it as a backdrop, but like also being able to.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on.
So metatext is
The
text
next
and
part.
text is metatext.
It kind of worked because like the things that we were making were already making the same kind of commentary that we wanted to achieve, so we didn't really need to do very much extra.
So I love how
a week
physical you
ago,
guys
the
got
Earth
with this.
began to
This,
pulse,
I love this
play
part.
to its own rhythm.
And this
so
is
good.
Amelia.
So
Began
good.
to
The
pulse.
printout is wonderful.
Scores of lives of bodies found their
Seeing the
rhythms
Zoom on
just
paper.
run chairs.
Zoom has never looked this good.
I love this.
Yeah.
When the
The
printer
worst
ink
quality?
is
Oh,
Yeah.
did the printer ink screw up, or did you guys do this intentionally?
But it's
It-
funny
it was
because
just at the
it's
end of
jump
the-
when it flips.
Been walking through the dust, us
And then it's
millions.
most consistent
We
when
walked
it
over
goes
a
to the
weak patch and
animation.
found our eyes.
Yeah,
the
because we're
bastards.
printing so
Turned
much.
skyward.
Yeah. I
We
love
might
that.
chance upon a man, a woman, a thing.
The
in
transition
window.
is so beautiful.
Still.
It's
walking
We did
interesting.
like so many irises. That was also fun.
I know.
Oh, this is
This
so
is so-
good too.
It looks like a whole movie.
It was funny though because me and Amelia used the exact same.
You're always
clip.
doing a comparative thing.
I'm
at
always
Kayla's.
doing a comparative thing.
We didn't even know that we were using the same thing because we were editing kind of like parallel at that
Oh, really?
point. Yeah, because I did the second section. I love this. The clicking is
This
so
part was cool
smart.
because the text was so
Where
clear.
did you get? Where's the clicking source from?
YouTube ripped,
Nice.
ripped and remixed.
Well, so much of this is ripping and remixing.
Yeah,
Oh, we have Symbiu in there twice now.
yeah.
I don't know who wrote Puncher, but that was good.
I really like
I
it.
did write that, and that is a mistake.
Like, well, you're so.
Makes me feel because I
As we know,
spelled puncture
repetition
correctly.
is very
So
important in
This was probably the most
working through and
annoying
talking
part for
through
me
the
because
process
I did a bunch of
analysis.
things where I
It's
tried
about
to
what
incorporate the
happens in
text
the
that
body and in the space
Hannah and I read.
between and around the
That's
words,
Yulia.
And
as well
then,
as the words themselves.
I mean, Hannah, did you want to speak on kind of the interlaying of the text
The
in
text
our
and the
group chat?
chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many things that we thought theoretically would work that didn't work as visuals at all for
Yeah.
that part, which was kind of interesting. Like, I think we ended up cutting down quite a lot and making it the most simple version, which was just simply printing out the materials and then
Yeah.
printing out the text.
And having them one after the other
love this part
as like
too.
both equal sources of inspiration.
I don't think you guys were here for this. This was the first meeting that we had before you guys.
I know,
I know.
Found you guys.
This is
so
new.
everyone like brought their images in, and then we like made it a
So
collage,
good.
and we were still like trying to figure out like who was gonna be there, who was interested. So it's like some of these images were like from people
the
who
beginning.
didn't end up coming
Oh.
back.
I absolutely love
That's
this
so
part.
deep.
You guys
That's
can
so
take
deep.
credit for them. So
Yeah.
pick an image that
I mean, it
was
was very
brought
fun.
in by not one of us.
And this is it's got an overlay ripped from just a repetition of something from Caleb's, and then this was a transition from the actual photo to the photocopied version that we used in the workshop.
I love that transition.
Yeah, I'm amazed by the halftone there.
And this is
I love these parts.
Yeah.
Is this Hitchcock? Hitchcock?
No, this is
Is that sperm and an
talking
egg?
about
This is from
Isaac's
Caleb's
sperm.
film.
my film.
Really?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like
Caleb's
you're
film.
giving birth to something.
From Caleb's Secret
Yeah.
Santa.
This
I
is so
think.
good too.
This
Yeah,
was
this is
actually really
amazing.
fun.
This
'cause it
was
was like way
crazy.
more of performance than it was editing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So how
it
was this
literally-
performed?
Did you screen record it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this whole thing is just screen recorded, which is why there's no editing in between because I didn't want there to be any more jumps.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because when you're playing that many videos all at once, and I recorded it like 4 or 5 times, your computer just starts going slowly.
Little
So there's
glitch.
all these glitches that just come up. Yeah, like
Oh.
that.
I love it though.
So did you
This is it's
did you set these to loop, or I'm trying to figure out, I suppose, like how
I-
organic this is. as
I
a
just
screen
like
recording.
took a clip of like 5 seconds of each hand gesture and then copied it so that each clip is about a minute long.
Somehow I didn't
Oh,
pick
that's
up on the fact that it's
genius.
a hand gesture oriented thing.
Really? Because
Yeah.
all of them are titled hands.
Oh,
Catch these hands.
I
That's
see
so
that
funny.
now.
Yeah, I didn't see any
love
titles
the
either
titles.
the first time I watched.
We
And this
originally
is-
thought we were gonna do like on the Google Archive, but I think the splaying of images on the desktop just worked a lot better for Hannah. I love this. I
is
think
so
this is
cute.
very homey, and I
This made me feel so warm.
yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I've been here for a while.
Your discussion on this one.
It reminds me, Amelia, of your camcorder.
I like yours because it like ends with chaos and then it goes into the quietest part of the film. That was like such a cool transition.
I thought it would be really.
We were scared this was gonna look too kumbaya. And this I took in one shot. This was a trial for the other sequence that just happened to work really well.
Oh.
But as you can see, some of these aren't looped, so they stop playing.
Yeah, no, I was
After you
gonna
click
say.
it.
I love that.
And you didn't even get like the rainbow circle thing where it just goes.
Where your computer stops. Yeah.
This part was interesting because we did this like
yesterday after Hannah and I had both
No,
equally
really?
spent.
During delirium?
And it was weird because the other ones were so much like of linear production where we would make something and put it in, and this one we went around in circles for like, several days, kind of trying to think about what
I don't know.
it would be like.
I don't think it occurred to me that the object would become that precious that quickly.
And this is from Caleb's workshop.
And it's so interesting how at the beginning of PIC we all like identified as like editors, but simultaneously like editing was kind of like last like priority. Yeah, it's the thing we did the least. But I think that just kind of speaks to how we came to Generation and like how in our creative projects we were already editing each other's work in production. That
I think also like at least like in the process of making this film, it felt like editing was the most like individual thing. Like it's very hard to do collaboratively, and so like as a collaborative collective, it actually made more sense by the end to participate more in Generation than in editing and finishing projects.
How was the collaborative editing process at the end?
We were working in parallel a lot of the time, and then like coming to see what each other were working on. So it was just like this,
Like sitting
where
in
we
your
were like
rooms.
both working.
I
it
love
was
that
a dark
program.
sections.
It feels like the computer has like a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, that was us watching each of our sections.
Well, it's
How did you find the parallel? Like, did you find you came to similar conclusions, or?
Well, it was interesting because we were working with some of the footage, but Amelia was mostly generating, and I was using like recycling. So it was interesting because there were a lot of similarities, and
which is very different how we usually work. I see like you're more of the generator of animation, and then I usually do the archive stuff, which was kind of
it just kind of naturally flipped in this project.
Yeah.
How did that feel? Was it at all comfortable? Discomfortable?
I really enjoyed it.
I loved it.
I found like
was
it felt like I
exciting.
was working on a skill while I was doing it, which I hadn't usually felt before.
And I love this ending.
Oh,
Yeah.
We originally had it like ending as, but this is actually like audio from the screenshot, the screen grabbed, and it continues a little while afterwards.
I love how much room you leave for people at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.